everybody, I'm Rachel with Concrete Farm to School. This is my kitchen. We're gonna do another recipe kit video today. We are making banana muffins. Here's some bananas. We're not actually gonna use these though, because I have these old frozen bananas. So we're gonna use these. You have some fresh bananas in your recipe kit, and hopefully they're starting to get a few brown spots on them, because that's when they're really good for things like muffins or banana bread. First thing we're gonna do today is preheat our oven, because I forgot that last time. So I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Then we're going to prepare our pan by greasing it. And you could use a muffin pan like this, and you could use those nice little muffin liners, or you could grease it. Or you can use a square pan. This is an 8 by 8 inch square pan. And you can use that, and that's gonna bake for a slightly different amount of time, but it'll turn out well in there too. So I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna just put a little oil on a paper towel, and then get that into all of the corners and the edges and the bottom. And if I was gonna grease my muffin tin, I would do the same thing, but all of those little muffins cups. So that's our pan. I'm gonna set that aside. And we're gonna start by mashing our bananas. Now in your kit you have 3 bananas. I have 3 bananas that have been frozen and defrosted here. And we're just gonna use a fork and squish them up really good. You don't want really big chunks of banana because they tend to create doughy or underdone muffins. So there we go. That's pretty well squished. So to our banana, we're gonna add 1 egg. Your egg is already cracked, but just bang it gently on the side of your bowl and then drop it in there. 1 egg. We're gonna also add to this mix a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to add brown sugar and white sugar. And we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then 2 tablespoons of white sugar. And we're going to add finally 2 tablespoons of oil. And in your recipe kit, the oil, the egg, and the vanilla are all together in that little cup, ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna whisk that up, mix up the egg, and then break the sugar up and get it in there. Okay, so now we're gonna mix our dry ingredients in a fresh bowl. So here's a bowl. We're gonna do 1.5 cups of flour. So I have a 1 cup measure. Flour, to which I'm going to add blueberries, baking powder and baking soda. And my recipe calls for a teaspoon of each of those. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're also going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. Do you remember last time that didn't work? So I'm gonna do 2 half teaspoons, which equal 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so those are our dry ingredients. I'm gonna whisk those together so that they're all combined. You could use a fork or a whisk. Be very careful when whisking flour, because if you go in there too fast, it goes all over the place. There's that. I'm going to clear off my table here. Okay, so here are my bananas and egg and vanilla and sugar. And we're gonna add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Let's see if I can do that so you guys can see. So we'll add the dry in there. And we don't wanna over mix our muffins. It's really important to stir them just enough so that they're combined, but you don't wanna stir them too much. So at this point, you could use a spoon and scoop it into your muffin tin. You don't want to put much more than a 1/4 cup in each muffin tin because you want to make sure that you have enough for all 12. Or you can do what I'm going to do and pour it into a pan. Okay, and then I'm going to just spread it into the corners, just gently, and move it around in there. Just on time, my oven is preheated. Scrape that off my fingers and stick that in the oven. And I'm gonna start with putting it in for about 20 minutes, and then I'll test it to see if it's done, and I'll show you how to do that in about 20 minutes. Okay, it's time to test it. Take it out of the oven. This has been baking for 35 to 40 minutes. If it was muffins, I would only bake it for 18 to 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I'm gonna stick the knife in. Came out perfectly clean, so those are done. I'm gonna let that cool for a little bit and then we'll taste it. Okay, it's time to taste this. It's like brownies, but banana, not chocolate. A little peanut butter in there would be good. Or you could put chocolate chips in there if you wanted. I'm gonna cut mine open and put a little butter inside. It's a lot like a muffin, but square. Well, I hope your banana muffin cake turns out as good as mine did. Enjoy the long weekend, and I hope you get some sunshine. And I'll see you next week with another surprise recipe kit. Bye, everyone.